Welcome to our channel. Today, May 15th, 2025, we honor American legends who passed away, leaving lasting legacies in music, sports, and beyond. Join us as we celebrate their incredible lives and impact. If their stories inspire you, please like and subscribe for more tributes. Let's keep their memories alive. Stay tuned for a heartfelt look at these icons. Share your thoughts below. What if one man's genius could both save and destroy the world? Richard Garwin, who passed away in May 2025, was called a true genius by Enrico Fermi himself. But his work on the hydrogen bomb left a mark that still sparks heated debates. So, who was this physicist, and why does his story matter today? At just 21, Garwin earned his PhD from the University of Chicago under Fermi, a legend in physics. Fermi didn't throw around praise lightly, but he saw something special in Garwin, a mind that could outshine even the brightest. By 1949, Garwin was already consulting at Los Alamos, diving into projects that would change history. But what he did next would define his legacy. In 1952, Garwin helped design the first hydrogen bomb, tested in the Ivy Mike explosion. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was a weapon thousands of times more powerful than Hiroshima's. Some called it progress, others saw it as a step toward global catastrophe. Anti-nuclear voices criticized Garwin, arguing his work fueled an arms race. But there's more to the story. Garwin wasn't just a lab scientist. For decades, he advised presidents from Eisenhower to Obama, shaping U.S. defense policies. He was a key player in JASON, a secretive group of scientists tackling national security. Rumors swirled that Garwin's influence went deeper than anyone knew, with some claiming he quietly steered Cold War strategies. While these reports remain unverified, they add a layer of mystery to his career. And that wasn't all he was up to. While consulting for the government, Garwin spent over 40 years at IBM, becoming an emeritus fellow in 1993. He also taught at Columbia and Harvard, balancing academia with high-stakes policy work. His ability to juggle these worlds was unmatched, but it kept him out of the public eye until now. Garwin's trophy case was packed: the National Medal of Science in 2002, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, and over 500 papers to his name. Yet, groups like the Union of Concerned Scientists, where he served, questioned the ethics of his nuclear work. This clash, brilliance versus moral cost, kept his name in the spotlight. In recent years, online buzz speculated about Garwin's true impact on U.S. defense, with fans and critics debating his role behind closed doors. Reports suggest he shaped policies we may never fully understand, but no one's confirmed the full scope. It's a puzzle that keeps people talking. Garwin died at 97 in Scarsdale, New York, leaving behind a wife, 3 kids, and a legacy that's anything but simple. His life raises a question we can't ignore. Does a scientist's brilliance justify the risks of their creations? Let that sink in, and tell us what you think below. Ever wonder what makes a football legend? Chic Bates was a name that echoed through Shrewsbury Town's golden days, but his story's got twists that'll leave you stunned. Let's dive in. Bates burst onto the scene in 1974, netting 17 goals to fire Shrewsbury into the 3rd Division. Fans chanted "Chico" from the stands. But his journeyman years at Swindon and Bristol Rovers showed a grit few talk about. By 1984, he was Shrewsbury's boss, guiding them to a jaw-dropping 8th in the 2nd Division, their best ever. And what happened next would shock everyone. Following Lou Macari across clubs, Bates was the loyal sidekick. Some say he could have been a top manager, but he stayed in the shadows. Then came Stoke City in '97. A 7-0 thrashing by Birmingham sparked a fan riot. 2,000 stormed the pitch. Bates was gone days later. Rumors swirled. Was he set up to fail? His later years brought heartbreak. Diagnosed with dementia in 2013, Bates fought quietly while his family rallied for charity. So, what's his legacy? A Shrewsbury hero, sure, but could he have conquered more? Share your thoughts below. What does it take to become a legend in French television, only to leave behind a trail of controversy? Daniel Bilalian, who passed away in 2025, was a household name for decades, but his story is far from simple. From his Armenian roots to heated scandals and a polarizing career, let's uncover the truth behind this enigmatic figure. Bilalian's story starts in Paris, born in 1947 to an Armenian father who fled the horrors of the genocide. Krikor Bilalian, a farm worker turned tailor, built a modest life on Rue Lamartine, raising Daniel with a fierce sense of determination. Growing up in a working-class family, Daniel could have followed his father's trade, but he had bigger dreams. After studying law in Lille, he took a bold leap into journalism, a move that would change his life forever. But how did a tailor's son become a national icon? By the early 1970s, Bilalian was making waves. He started as a regional correspondent for ORTF, but his charisma and sharp reporting quickly caught the eye of Antenne 2. Soon, he was a senior reporter, diving into major stories with a knack for connecting with viewers. By 1976, he was anchoring Antenne 2 Midi, and even stepped into the prestigious 8 p.m. news slot. His smooth delivery made him a star, but the TV world is ruthless, and Bilalian's journey was about to get bumpy. Despite his success, Bilalian's career wasn't all smooth sailing. In 1991, he was hosting Stars à la Barre, a popular talk show, when a fiery debate about France's far-right spiraled out of control. Reports say the clash was so intense that Bilalian was ousted from the show, leaving viewers stunned. Was it a clash of ideals, or just bad timing? Whatever the reason, it sent him back to the sidelines, forcing him to rebuild. But that wasn't the whole story. Bilalian wasn't one to stay down. By 1994, he was back on France 2, anchoring the 1 p.m. news with the same charm that made him a star. A year later, he teamed up with Bruno Mazier for presidential election coverage, proving he could still command the screen. By 1997, he was back on the 8 p.m. news, holding the slot until 1998. Even after being shelved again, he returned in 2001, anchoring the 1 p.m. news until 2004. His ability to bounce back was remarkable, but bigger challenges were looming. In 2004, Bilalian took on a new role as head of sports at France Televisions, a move that would define his later years. But it wasn't all glory. Rumors swirled about his management style, and in 2010, sports journalists voted no confidence in him, slamming his hands-off approach. Things got messier when he defended Philippe Candeloro, a commentator criticized for sexist remarks during the 2014 Olympics. Fans online still debate whether Bilalian was loyal or out of touch. And what happened next would shock everyone. Beyond the controversies, Bilalian left a mark on sports broadcasting, commentating on Olympic opening ceremonies from Turin to Rio. His voice became synonymous with those global moments. Then, in a surprising twist, he entered politics in 2020, winning a municipal council seat in Neuilly-sur-Seine and championing international ties. But just as he seemed to reinvent himself, tragedy struck. In May 2025, Bilalian passed away, due to an illness, a vague phrase that sparked whispers online. Was it a long battle, or something sudden? The truth remains unclear. Daniel Bilalian's life was a rollercoaster of triumphs and scandals, from his gritty beginnings to his polarizing final years. He was a journalist, a presenter, a sports director, and even a politician, but above all, he was a fighter. His death has left fans wondering, what really happened in those final months? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation going. Ever wonder what turns a 5 feet, 10 inches underdog into a Miami Dolphins legend? Tommy Vigorito wasn't the biggest guy on the field, but his heart and speed made him unforgettable. Let's dive into his wild ride from college star to NFL fan favorite. Born in Passaic, New Jersey, Vigorito was a high school All-American who lit up DePaul Catholic. At the University of Virginia, he became a do-it-all weapon, leading the Cavaliers in rushing, receptions, and returns. In 1979, he racked up 1,045 rushing yards, snagged first-team All-ACC honors, and left as Virginia's second all-time leading rusher with 2,912 yards. His 81-yard scamper against NC State, still one of the longest in team history. But that was just the start. In 1981, the Miami Dolphins drafted Vigorito in the 5th round. He nearly joined the Canadian Football League for more cash, but chose legendary coach Don Shula instead. As a rookie, he proved his worth, winning the Tommy Fitzgerald Award as Miami's top training camp newcomer. That wasn't all, he was about to make history. Vigorito's rookie year was electric. Playing third string behind Tony Nathan and Eddie Hill, he still shone, especially on special teams. In a Thursday night clash against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he blazed an 87-yard punt return for a touchdown, setting a Dolphins record that stood for decades. Fans went wild, and he was named Miami's top special teams player of 1981. But there was more to come. In the strike-shortened 1982 season, Vigorito kept the fire burning. Against the rival New York Jets, his 59-yard punt return touchdown broke a tie and sparked a Dolphins rout. His fearless style made him a crowd darling. Then, tragedy struck. In the 1983 season opener, a punt return ended with a torn ACL in his right knee. Back then, ACL surgeries were iffy, and Vigorito missed 2 full seasons. Yet, he wasn't done. By 1985, Vigorito fought back, returning as Miami's primary punt returner. Though newer players like Mark Clayton took some of his roles, his grit kept fans cheering. When he passed in May 2025 at 65, tributes poured in, reminding us of his no-fear legacy. So, what could Vigorito have achieved without that injury? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep his story alive. What if one moment could define a career, only for fate to rewrite the ending? Cornal Hendricks, a South African rugby star, captivated fans with his speed, grit, and an unbelievable comeback, until his sudden passing at 37 left the world stunned. Let's dive into the wild ride of a player who defied the odds, but couldn't escape his heart's hidden battle. Hendricks burst onto the scene like a lightning bolt. Starting in 2007 with Winter Roses in South Africa's Border Super League, he was a raw talent with a knack for breaking defenses. By 2008, he joined Boland Cavaliers, splitting time between wing and center, racking up 40 matches and 9 tries. His versatility caught eyes, and it wasn't long before bigger stages called. But what made this small-town kid so special? In 2014, Hendricks hit the big leagues with the Cheetahs in Super Rugby. His debut against the Lions was electric, and by season's end, he was the team's top scorer with 6 points. Fans loved his fearless runs, but something darker was brewing beneath the surface. And it was about to change everything. Then came the bombshell. In 2016, a serious heart condition stopped Hendricks cold. Diagnosed while set to join the Stormers, he was sidelined indefinitely. Whispers online suggested the issue was worse than anyone let on. Some even wondered if he'd ever play again. For a player at his peak, it was a gut punch. But the story doesn't end there. Desperate to return, Hendricks faced heartbreak after heartbreak. In December 2016, RC Toulon signed him as an extra player, only to back out after medical tests. A year later, the Southern Kings rejected him for the same reason. 4 years passed with no rugby, and fans started to lose hope. Was this the end of a once bright career? Not quite. In 2019, Hendricks pulled off the impossible. Cleared by cardiologists, he signed with the Bulls and returned to Super Rugby against the Jaguars. Over 2 stellar seasons, he proved he was still a force, extending his contract in 2020. Social media lit up with praise, but some fans wondered, was he pushing his body too far? That question lingered as his comeback shone bright. Hendricks wasn't just a club player, he was a national hero. In 2011, he joined the Blitzboks, winning gold at the 2014 Commonwealth Games. In 2014, he earned a Springboks cap against Wales, a dream come true. But by 2021, despite dominating with the Bulls, he wasn't recalled. Fans speculated online that his heart issues scared off selectors, sparking debates about fairness in rugby. Was he unfairly sidelined? The answer's not so simple. Fast forward to 2024, and Hendricks' contract with the Bulls wasn't renewed. He planned to end his career where it started, with Boland Cavaliers. But on May 15, 2025, tragedy struck. At 37, Hendricks passed away from a heart attack. Online forums buzzed with rumors. Some claimed his medical clearances were rushed, others said rugby's grind took its toll. While we don't know the full truth, these whispers highlight the uncertainty around his health. Cornal Hendricks' story is one of triumph, setbacks, and unanswered questions. He fought to reclaim his place on the field, but at what cost? His legacy challenges us to think about the price athletes pay for glory. What do you think? Did Hendricks push too far? Or was he a victim of circumstance? Let that sink in as we remember a true rugby warrior.